Ying Zheng, the first emperor of Qin, the very first sovereign in Chinese history, resembles a dazzling yet enigmatic star. It has been shining with an awe-inspiring glow in the boundless firmament of history. His lineage, like an impenetrable mist, is veiled in a plethora of mysteries. For more than 2 millennia, it has consistently piqued people's curiosity and spurred them to engage in ceaseless speculation and exploration. A long time ago, the ever-changing situation during the Warring States period was like a never-ending grand drama. Disputes among various states were incessant. On this grand stage, there was a man whose origin was like an impenetrable fog. This man was Ying Zheng, the first emperor of Qin, who would later unify the 6 states. The story begins with a wealthy merchant named Lu Buwei. Lu Buwei was an extremely shrewd man. He did business among various states and made a fortune. One day, in Handan, the capital of the state of Zhao, he met a down-and-out nobleman named Zichu. Zichu was the son of Enguo Jun, the crown prince of the state of Qin. However, he was just one of many sons, and his mother was not favored. So, he was sent to the state of Zhao as a hostage. In Zhao, Zichu had a tough time. Since the states of Qin and Zhao were often at war, the people of Zhao treated him unfavorably, and Zichu lived in poverty. The moment Lu Buwei laid eyes on Zichu, his eyes sparkled instantly, as if he had stumbled upon a hidden gold mine. A thought flashed through his mind: this is an extraordinary opportunity. If I can assist Zichu in ascending the throne of the state of Qin, I'll be able to enjoy endless prosperity and glory in the days to come. With that in mind, Lu Buwei made up his mind to stake a great deal on Zichu. First, Lu Buwei took out a large sum of money to help Zichu improve his living conditions. He also went around doing everything possible for Zichu, gradually making Zichu quite well known in the state of Qin. Moreover, Lu Buwei made elaborate plans to enable Zichu to win the favor of Lady Huayang, the most beloved concubine of Enguo Jun. Although Lady Huayang was deeply cherished, she had no children of her own. Lu Buwei then persuaded her to adopt Zichu as her son. In this way, Zichu had the hope of becoming the crown prince of the state of Qin. Just as Lu Buwei was knee-deep in handling Zichu's matters, he had a concubine named Zhao Ji. She was not only breathtakingly beautiful, but also exceptionally talented in singing and dancing. One day, when Zichu came to Lu Buwei's residence as a guest, he was instantly captivated by Zhao Ji's beauty the moment he laid eyes on her. After indulging in several rounds of wine, emboldened by the alcohol, he shamelessly demanded that Lu Buwei give Zhao Ji to him. Initially, Lu Buwei was filled with rage. How could he part with the woman he held dear so readily? However, upon a moment's reflection, he realized that he had already poured a great deal into Zichu's cause. It would be a disastrously foolish move to let a single woman derail his grand plans. With a sigh of resignation, he steeled himself and presented Zhao Ji to Zichu. Not long after, Zhao Ji gave birth to a son, and this child was Ying Zheng. At this time, a mysterious legend began to spread. Some people said that Zhao Ji was already pregnant with Lu Buwei's child before she married Zichu. Lu Buwei deliberately presented her to Zichu in order to make his own child ascend to the throne of the state of Qin in the future. This rumor spread like wildfire among the people. It became more and more absurd as it was passed on, and many people took it as truth. Later, Zichu really returned to the state of Qin. With the help of Lu Buwei, he successfully ascended the throne and became King Zhuangxiang of Qin. Unfortunately, King Zhuangxiang of Qin passed away after ruling for only a few years. The young Ying Zheng then inherited the throne. When Ying Zheng grew up, he demonstrated extraordinary talents and ambition. He successively conquered the 6 states, unified the whole country, and became the first monarch in Chinese history to claim the title of emperor, the first emperor of Qin. However, the rumors about his origin have never ceased. Many people, dissatisfied with the first emperor of Qin's rule, bring up his origin, claiming that he was not of the legitimate royal blood of the state of Qin and thus had no right to be the emperor. However, another unsolved mystery of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, just like the mystery of his birth, is related to Zhao Ji, the dancing girl in question. That is, Emperor Qin Shi Huang never designated an empress. Let's wind back the clock to Emperor Qin Shi Huang's childhood. Back then, as a hostage of the Qin state, he was held captive in Handan, the capital of the Zhao state. Despite his tender age, he found himself in a foreign land, living under the mercy of others, constantly grappling with loneliness, fear, and humiliation. On the streets and alleys of Handan, his slender yet resolute figure could often be spotted. He trudged forward, braving the cold, disdainful looks and cruel mockery of the locals. This harrowing childhood experience was like a keen carving knife, etching deep marks on his young and vulnerable heart. It was this ordeal that made him mature beyond his years and instilled in him an unwavering toughness. Moreover, it granted him a profound insight into the intricacies of human nature and the duplicity of people's hearts. Later, Yinzhang returned to the state of Qin. With the assistance of capable ministers such as Lu Buwei, he smoothly ascended the throne of the king of Qin. From that moment on, a raging fire ignited in his heart. It was the lofty aspiration and heroic sentiment of unifying the world and achieving unparalleled feats. To fulfill this magnificent dream, he dedicated himself to government affairs day and night. The candlelight in the palace often burned brightly throughout the night. He buried himself in reading among mountains of bamboo slips, intensely discussed strategies for governing the country with his ministers, and meticulously planned every war. In his eyes, the entire world was his chessboard, and what he needed to do was to gradually bring all the chess pieces under his control and build an unprecedentedly vast empire. During the journey of unifying the 6 states, Yinzhang's army swept through each state like a gale sweeping away fallen leaves. Every time a state was conquered, treasures and beautiful women from various states were continuously sent to the Qin Palace. These women came from different states and had diverse charms. The women of the Chu state were like the flowers blooming in spring, delicate and charming, gentle and attractive. The women of the Qi state were just like the clear mountain streams, dignified and elegant, exuding an air of refinement. The women of the Zhao state were like the galloping horses on the grassland, lively and agile, enthusiastic and unrestrained. They adorned Emperor Qin Shi Huang's harem like stars, vying with each other in beauty and presenting a dazzling sight. However, despite being surrounded by a multitude of beautiful women in his harem, Emperor Qin Shi Huang never once entertained the idea of establishing an empress. This might be intricately related to his mother, Zhao Ji. Zhao Ji was originally Lu Buwei's concubine and later became the wife of King Zhuangxiang of Qin. After King Zhuangxiang's death, unable to bear the loneliness, Zhao Ji not only rekindled her former relationship with Lu Buwei, but also had an affair with Lao Ai and even gave birth to 2 children. This palace scandal was like a blockbuster, causing a huge stir both in the imperial court and among the common people of the Qin state. When Emperor Qin Shi Huang learned the truth, his heart was filled with anger, shame, and pain. His mother's actions made him deeply doubt the fidelity of women. Deep in his heart, there seemed to be an indestructible barrier that kept him far away from love and trust. In addition, Emperor Qin Shi Huang's fanatical pursuit of immortality also significantly influenced his attitude towards establishing an empress. He had heard that there were fairy mountains in the sea, on which grew magic herbs capable of granting people immortality. In order to seek these legendary magic herbs, he spared no expense in terms of manpower, material resources, and financial resources. He dispatched alchemists such as Xu Fu to lead a huge fleet to set out to sea in search of them. In his mind, attaining immortality was of utmost importance. He yearned to rule this vast land forever, witness the prosperity of the empire, and ensure that his fame and achievements would be inscribed in the annals of history forever. Establishing an empress meant determining an heir, which seemed to imply the end of his life and the transfer of power. For Emperor Qin Shi Huang, this was unacceptable, so he postponed making the decision to establish an empress. Furthermore, the political situation at that time also made Emperor Qin Shi Huang extremely cautious about establishing an empress. After unifying the 6 states, although on the surface the whole country was united, in fact, the remaining forces of the 6 states were still secretly stirring. These nobles harbored the desire to restore their former states, hated the rule of the Qin dynasty to the core, and were always ready to launch rebellions. Emperor Qin Shi Huang was well aware of the danger and walked on thin ice every day, not daring to slack off in the slightest. Under such a severe situation, he simply didn't have the time to attend to matters in the harem. Moreover, he was also worried that once an empress was crowned, the power of the empress's family would gradually expand and thus threaten his ruling position. After all, throughout history, there had been numerous examples of countries being thrown into turmoil due to the usurpation of power by imperial relatives. Emperor Qin Shi Huang had no intention of repeating such mistakes. Time flies by like a white horse passing through a narrow gap, fleeting in a hurry. Emperor Qin Shi Huang spent his entire life in busyness and anxiety. He always walked alone at the peak of power, constantly striving and struggling for the long-term stability of the empire and his own eternal hegemony. However, in the end, he never found the magic medicine of immortality, nor did he establish an empress. Qin Shi Huang, the solitary emperor standing at the peak of power, faced the vicissitudes of the empire alone during the years without the company of an empress. His life was filled with lofty aspirations and boundless anxiety. In his magnificent yet lonely journey, apart from the regret in the imperial harem, there was also an earth-shattering event that shook the ages, the burning of books and burying of scholars. This event was like a dazzling yet heart-piercing bolt of lightning streaking across the sky of history. It brought a huge impact on that era and left countless descendants with profound thoughts. It is said that after Emperor Qin Shi Huang unified the 6 states in those days, he thought to himself that the world finally belonged to the great Qin dynasty. From then on, he must govern it well and ensure that the country could be passed down through the ages. At this time, some different voices emerged in the imperial court. There was a group of scholars who were always bringing up the old rules and methods of the past. They believed that many of Emperor Qin Shi Huang's practices did not conform to ancient traditions. For example, Emperor Qin Shi Huang implemented the system of prefectures and counties, dividing the country into numerous prefectures and sending officials to administer them. However, these scholars thought that in the past, the system of infeoffing vassal states had always been practiced, and what Emperor Qin Shi Huang was doing was incorrect. Hearing these words, Emperor Qin Shi Huang felt a bit annoyed. He thought that after great efforts, he had finally unified the world and created such a new situation. Why were there always people nitpicking here? This was nothing but disturbing people's minds. At this moment, a minister named Li Si discerned Emperor Qin Shi Huang's thoughts. Li Si then said to Emperor Qin Shi Huang, "Your Majesty, these scholars only know how to read those ancient books all day long. They also go around telling people that the current policies are not good. This is of no benefit to your rule. In my opinion, apart from the historical records of the state of Qin and those practical books on medicine, divination, tree planting, and the like, all the other books are useless. We might as well burn them all. In this way, the common people will have fewer chaotic thoughts and will all follow your orders. Then, it will be much easier to govern the world." Upon hearing this, Emperor Qin Shi Huang thought it made sense, so he ordered the burning of books. Once the order was given, the whole country was bustling with activity. Soldiers went everywhere to search for books. All the books that did not meet the regulations were piled up together and burned. Many precious ancient books were destroyed in this way. It was truly a great loss to the inheritance of culture. This was not the end of the matter. Later, some more things happened that made Emperor Qin Shi Huang even angrier. There were two alchemists, those who claimed they could find the elixir of immortality. Every day, they boasted in front of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, saying they could help him find the magic medicine and make him immortal. Emperor Qin Shi Huang took this matter very seriously and provided them with a great deal of money and manpower to carry out the task. However, in the end, these two people couldn't find the magic medicine at all. Fearing being blamed by Emperor Qin Shi Huang, they secretly fled. Emperor Qin Shi Huang waited for a long time, but not only did he fail to get the medicine, but the men also ran away. This made him extremely angry. He thought these people were really detestable. Not only did they deceive him, but they also spoke ill of him outside. So, Emperor Qin Shi Huang sent people to investigate and find out who else was speaking ill of him behind his back. This investigation led to a shocking discovery. It was found that quite a number of scholars were also talking about Emperor Qin Shi Huang, saying that he was wrong in this way or that. Emperor Qin Shi Huang was really enraged this time. He thought these people were deliberately causing trouble and not showing any respect for him as the emperor. So, he gave the order to arrest all those scholars who had been talking about him. In total, more than 460 of them were captured, and then all these people were buried alive. This is what is known in history as the burying of Confucian scholars. When Emperor Qin Shi Huang burned books and buried Confucian scholars alive, countless precious ancient books were reduced to ashes, and numerous literati and scholars lost their lives. This was undoubtedly a tragedy in history, making people sigh with regret. However, the wheel of fate did not stop turning. As Emperor Qin Shi Huang grew older, the arrangements after his death became the focus of people's attention. Among them, the mystery of the succession to the throne was like a thick fog, shrouding the sky of history and evoking endless reveries and speculations among later generations. How much helplessness of the emperor and how many palace disputes were hidden behind all this? And what kind of ending did it bring to the great Qing Empire? Emperor Qin Shi Huang had several sons, among whom Fusu and Huhai were quite outstanding. Fusu was kind-hearted, generous, and showed great concern for the common people. He often expressed different opinions to Emperor Qin Shi Huang. For example, regarding the incident of burning books and burying Confucian scholars alive, Fusu thought that his father had gone too far. He persuaded Emperor Qin Shi Huang, saying, "Father Emperor, the world has just been unified, and the people haven't fully settled down yet. By burning books and killing Confucian scholars on such a large scale, you will surely break the people's hearts." Upon hearing this, Emperor Qin Shi Huang flew into a rage. He thought Fusu was being very naive, and all his actions were for the eternal stability of the great Qing dynasty. In a fit of anger, he dispatched Fusu to the north to oversee Mengtian in the construction of the Great Wall and the defense against the Xiongnu. Now let's talk about Huhai. Huhai was the youngest son of Emperor Qin Shi Huang. Since childhood, he was intelligent, clever, and had a sweet tongue, especially good at winning Emperor Qin Shi Huang's favor. Emperor Qin Shi Huang doted on him and often kept him by his side. In his later years, Emperor Qin Shi Huang was particularly eager to achieve immortality. He sent people everywhere to search for the elixir of immortality. He went on a tour with a group of people, hoping to relax and, by the way, look for clues about the magic medicine. However, unexpectedly, this tour turned out to be the last journey of his life. On the way of the tour, Emperor Qin Shi Huang suddenly fell ill, and his condition grew increasingly serious. He knew in his heart that he was probably running out of time and had to make arrangements for his and determine the heir to the throne as soon as possible. So, he summoned Zhao Gao and told him to write an imperial edict to Fu Su. The content of the edict was roughly to ask Fu Su to hand over the military affairs and then rush back to Xianyang to preside over the funeral. The implied meaning was that Fu Su was to inherit the throne. Who was this Zhao Gao? He was Hu Hai's teacher and had always been thinking that if Hu Hai could become the emperor, he himself would be able to hold great power. After getting the imperial edict, he came up with a wicked plan. He secretly hid the edict and then went to see Hu Hai. He said to Hu Hai, "Prince, the emperor is on his deathbed. This edict is for Fu Su. Once Fu Su comes back and ascends the throne, you won't have a good life. How about we figure out a way to alter the edict and make you the emperor?" At first, Hu Hai was quite scared and said, "How can this be done? This is a crime of deceiving the emperor. If we are discovered, we will lose our heads." Zhao Gao tried to persuade him, saying, "Your Highness, don't worry. As long as we do this secretly, no one will find out. Just think about it. If you become the emperor, all the wealth and glory in the world will be yours." Hu Hai couldn't resist Zhao Gao's persuasion and began to be tempted. Then Zhao Gao went to see Li Si and said to him, "Prime Minister, the emperor's edict is in my hands. Now, if we just alter the edict to make Hu Hai the emperor, your position in the future will surely be more secure. If Fu Su becomes the emperor, he will definitely put Mang Tian in an important position. By then, your position as prime minister will be at risk." At first, Li Si firmly disagreed. He felt that doing so would be extremely ungrateful to Emperor Qin Shi Huang. However, Zhao Gao kept persuading him and even intimidated him with various pros and cons. In the end, Li Si wavered. Afraid of losing his position and power, he joined Zhao Gao and Hu Hai in forging the imperial edict. The forged imperial edict stated that Fu Su had failed to achieve any merits while away from the capital and had repeatedly submitted memorials to slander Emperor Qin Shi Huang. It ordered Fu Su to commit suicide. It also claimed that Mang Tian had colluded with Fu Su, and they should both be given the order to take their own lives. After receiving the imperial edict, Fu Su was heartbroken. He thought that his father the emperor must have been extremely disappointed in him to order him to commit suicide. Without much thought, he was about to draw his sword and take his own life. Mang Tian felt that something was amiss and advised Fu Su, "Prince, this imperial edict might be fake. You'd better send someone to ask the emperor first." But Fu Su was too filial. He said, "Father Emperor has ordered me to die. How could I defy his command?" With these words, he committed suicide. Mang Tian refused to take his own life. Zhao Gao sent people to arrest him, and in the end, Mang Tian was also killed. In this way, with the help of Zhao Gao and Li Si, Hu Hai ascended the throne and became Emperor Qin Shi. However, Hu Hai had no ability to govern the country at all. All day long, he only indulged in pleasure and left all state affairs to Zhao Gao. In order to consolidate his power and eliminate those who opposed him, Zhao Gao threw the imperial court into chaos. Before long, peasant uprisings broke out everywhere, and the rule of the Great Qin Empire was on the verge of collapse. The once extremely glorious Great Qin Empire, due to this succession conspiracy, gradually headed towards its downfall. Emperor Qin Shi Huang would never have imagined that the empire he painstakingly established would come to an end so quickly because of the issue of succession. And the mystery of his succession has also become a topic that will always be talked about in history.